Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be testing out loads of different pencil blending techniques so you don't have to. So let's get straight into it. In today's video I'm going to be testing out the Faber-Castell Polychromos, Zest It pencil blend, oil, the Derwent colourless blending pencil, nail varnish remover and white spirit, along with a blending stump and also some cotton buds. In all of the techniques that I'm going to be working on, I'm using my Faber-Castell Polychromos because I absolutely love these colouring pencils, and you do have to work a bit harder with them because they are oil based. So the very first technique that I'm going to use is just with my colouring pencils. So I'm going to layer up lots of different layers of my blues to create a sphere. Now with this technique you do need to go over with your pencils quite a lot, so adding additional layers over the top until you can't really see any of the tooth of the paper showing through. So you do really need to ensure that you are using a lot of layers. And for this I just keep going back and forth with my lighter and my darker blue pencils until I'm happy with the actual look of my sphere. And I like to use little circular motions, and I go in lots of different directions to really make sure that I'm filling in all of those little tooth gaps on my paper. It is quite a time-consuming technique for blending your colouring pencils, but I would say this is the technique that I use most frequently. So if you are not too worried about creating a piece quickly, then this is a good way for you just to practice your colouring pencil skills without the use of expensive blending solutions or other tools. So I do highly recommend this technique and just learning how to layer up your colouring pencils without any blending solutions. I would also say don't be afraid of using really dark colours in comparison to some of your other lighter tones, because this is going to really help make your colouring pencil pop from the page and give it a lot more depth. So I would give this technique a solid 10 out of 10. Now on to a Zest It pencil blend. It's a hydrocarbon orange terpenes, so it smells really nice and zesty as the name suggests. With this one, it just melts the colouring pencils away. I do find you need to dab off any excess, otherwise it will bleed off into your paper and you'll get sort of like an oil mark around your page. It can help fill in any paper tooth that might be showing through. The only downside to this one is sometimes it can remove a little bit of the colour and the pigmentation, so you need to be careful not to use too much. So I would give this one a really good 9 out of 10 for a blending technique. Onto the next really low budget, low tech solution, and that's using a blending stump. And for this one I'm just going in a little circular motion so I don't get any stop-start marks. I started off in my lightest area first because it will pick up some of the pigment onto the end of your blending tool, but this one is a good option. The only downside is it's quite a lot of work, and by the end of it your arm will really ache. So I think there are better blending methods out there. This one I would give 5 out of 10 because it took a long time. I can still see some of the paper tooth and it's a lot of work. This next technique I'm using oil on a paintbrush, and much like the Zest It, it just helps to smooth out any pencil marks in your drawing. So I dab off any excess and then I just smooth it out with a paintbrush. Now this technique works really well, however it's not going to be archival, so it's good for sketchbooks or just on pieces of paper, but not on things you're trying to sell or things that you are going to want to last a really long time, because that oil is going to break down. So for that reason I am going to give this one a 5 out of 10 also. This is the harshest of all of the solutions that I'm trying, and it's white spirit. Now it smells really bad and also it picks up way too much of the pigment, so it's a really harsh blending solution. So I wouldn't really recommend this one all that highly. You want to make sure your room is well ventilated if you're going to use this, so I'd give this a 2 out of 10. Next up, I'm using nail varnish remover, and it didn't really work all that well with my paintbrush, so I did switch up to using a Q-tip or a cotton bud, which worked a lot better, but it gave me quite a patchy finish and it just didn't really blend all that well. So for this one, I think that I would give this a 3 out of 10 because it smells really strongly, much like the White Spirit, and I didn't think that the blending finish was all that great. For this one, I'm using just a Q-tip or a cotton bud, so a really low cost solution with things that you might already have around the house. And for this one, you're just going to press down with a little bit of pressure, and you're going to move in a circular motion again so you don't get any stop-start marks, and you're just blending your colouring pencil into the tooth grain of your paper. For me, I found that this worked a lot better than the blending stump. For some reason, I didn't have to press down quite so hard, maybe because it's slightly softer in material, I'm not entirely sure, but I found it to be a lot better. Let me know what you think, whether you prefer a blending stump or a cotton bud. For this technique, I think I would give this one a 6 out of 10. For the last technique, I'm going to try out the Derwent colourless blending pencil that I bought recently from Hobbycraft as part of my haul that I will link in the description box. You use this pencil much like a regular colouring pencil, just going over the top of your work, and it helps to deepen and intensify the colours and the pigmentation of your colouring pencils. The only negative with this pencil is that it actually creates a little bit of dust across your page, so it does pick up and create a bit of a colour dust, so be careful when removing that from your page that you don't then ruin your work. I would give this one a solid 10 out of 10. So we have all of the finished spheres. Let me know in the comments which technique you think worked the best, which one you're going to try out yourself, or if you have any other suggestions on blending colouring pencils, because I'd love to hear your techniques. So there you guys have it. Those are all of the different blending techniques that I tried out. My least favourite is the thinners because 1, it smells really badly, and 2, it's just so harsh on my colouring pencils that it just took away too much of the colour. My favourite is the Derwent colourless blending pencil because that is really affordable. It also was the least messy in terms of liquids, and I think that it gave a really nice deep colour. So I would definitely try those out if you are interested in upping your blending game with your colouring pencils. Hope you have enjoyed today's video and found it useful. Let me know in the comments what colouring pencil technique you think you will try out. Also, make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on any of my videos, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.